This exercise will help you avoid chicken scratch. Instead of uncertain pecking at the paper, we're going to draw each line with a focused and intentional path. Remember to draw from your shoulder, elbow, and wrist. Avoid the fingers. When I tell you guys to simplify your lines, I'm usually referring to 3 types of lines: 2 curves and 1 straight. And we can remember this as CSI. C stands for C curves, S stands for S curves, and I represents straight lines. Combining these 3 kinds of lines can help you construct all kinds of interesting shapes that read clearly, even from a distance. What we want to avoid is drawing with lines that are shaky, scratchy, and lack confidence. Shape versus contour. We're starting to think of shape a bit, because when you simplify contour lines, you inevitably simplify the shape that those contour lines represent. But a big difference is that when we simplify a shape, we consider the whole shape. For this exercise, we will just consider the individual segments of the contour of a shape. It's a little bit more tunnel visioned. We're just thinking of lines and the relationship of those lines to the other lines around it. It's really difficult to draw a complex or organic line accurately with a single stroke. There are too many parts to it. Much more approachable to break it up into smaller parts. We already did this in the last project, but we used only straight lines. This time we can make our lines a little bit more complex by introducing C curves and S curves, both of which are still very simple. CSI versus only straights. What's the difference between using curves and straights versus just straights like we did with the parent portrait project? Well, if I had to give a simple answer and put them into 2 buckets, I'd say the 2 use cases are accuracy for only straight lines and expression when we add in the curves. If you're drawing from observation and you're trying to transfer the shapes and proportions as accurately as possible, like with the Charles Bargue method, using only straights is very effective because it's easy for our brain to control the length, placement, and angle of a straight line. It's harder to do that with a curve. But if you're sketching and your intention is to capture the impression of something quickly, and you want to include gesture and motion in that impression, C and S curves are very helpful. This is true whether you're drawing gestures from observation or sketching from imagination. C and S curves can capture motion, and straights are more suited for structure. So the combination of the 2 allows you to quickly differentiate between the 2 with shorthand line types. The interesting thing is, for beginners, the quick expressive approach might still need to start kind of slow. You still want to push back on the desire for perfectionism, but you need time to allow your brain to process what you're seeing. You don't have the muscle memory or the training that allows your subconscious to make decisions for you. So a beginner artist should sketch slower than a seasoned one. In this project, we're going to practice the slightly quicker approach using CSI. Your pace should be quick, but not rushed. This is an exercise in mindset as much as it is an exercise in lines. I've provided you several photos below. You'll notice the one I showed in this video is not one of the reference photos for your project. That's because I just showed you how I would solve this one. Download the photo reference below and try to solve them on your own. Same instructions for level 1 and 2, just a difference in difficulty of reference. The level 2 photos have more fun little tidbits to tempt you to get into the details, but fight the urge and simplify. Also, no shading in these, please. This is not meant to be a portfolio piece. This is a focused exercise that's supposed to get you better at making those portfolio pieces later. All right, good luck.